My name is Neil Mavis, and I am a certified wireless network expert. I'm also an Airbnb superhost. If you own an Airbnb that has an RV next to it and you want to try to make some revenue off of the RV or camper, this video is to try to help you understand how and when and where to use a Wi-Fi repeater. This particular model here is a home, a 1,036 square foot home. It was located next to a camper. The camper is down here at the bottom. And what we wanted to do is try to get Wi-Fi from this house into the camper. So the Wi-Fi access point, we did a Wi-Fi survey, and this shows the coverage of the Wi-Fi access point for the house, the property, and into the camper. I'm going to go up here and show you where we surveyed this. We had a survey tool where I walked along these green lines that showed where we measured the actual power of the Wi-Fi access point and the Wi-Fi repeater. And what it clearly shows here is the camper, the metal walls of the camper, almost completely shields the Wi-Fi inside the camper. So if we're going to try to get Wi-Fi from the house inside the camper, we're going to have to do something different than just hope that we can get Wi-Fi through the window. And the window is modeled here with this 3 dB loss window, and we've got the metal skin modeled as a brick wall at 10 dBm. So if we look at this house, which has about 1,000 square feet, this is the 5 gigahertz band, which you really want to use. You want to avoid the 2.4 gigahertz band because it has a lot of interference and it only has 3 channels, but the 5 gigahertz band here is typically about 4 times faster, has almost no interference, higher throughput. So the first thing we did was we put the access point, instead of in the living room, we put the access point here in the master bedroom by the window. And the reason for that is you want to get the access point in the house as close to the camper as you possibly can. So if you currently have your access point somewhere else in a house, see if you can go buy yourself a longer Ethernet cable and get the access point moved to a window that is in front of the camper. So we got a 3x3 MIMO access point in the window, and you can see that it's trying to get to the camper. This is the Belkin, or also Linksys AC 1900 access point. The reason I chose it is because it has this key feature here called MIMO or MIMO, or spelled M-I-M-O. It's a very important feature that really does work. This particular one is a 3x3 MIMO. You can tell because it has 3 antennas. And I chose this because it's a very good access point at a very affordable price that supports multi-user MIMO. So what we did to get Wi-Fi inside the camper is we bought a Wi-Fi repeater that specifically had a key feature called MIMO. This is the Netgear AC 1900 Wi-Fi mesh extender. It's also known as the EX6400, and the reason I recommend it is it has one key feature that most people don't know about that separates it from the rest. It has a feature called MIMO or MIMO, and if you stream down here to the bottom of its technical specs, it has multi-user MIMO, and it's a 2x2 MIMO on both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. And that way we had a MIMO access point in the house and a MIMO capable repeater in the camper. So notice that the numbers here, the red 165 and the purple 11, matches the repeater numbers. The repeater showed up as it was linked to channel 165 and channel 11. And notice what happens when I have channel 165 turned on the repeater inside the camper. It completely lights up the camper, and because this repeater was located right inside the window, the repeater illuminated the property almost better than the actual access point. The key thing to remember here, though, is what we learned that was a surprise. This window really was not a 3 dB window. It was actually a metal tinted window that actually had higher loss than the walls of the camper. So what we had to do is we actually had to prop up the window here the metal tinted window had to be propped up about 4 inches, and we put a 4-inch high, 1-inch thick foam board in front of it for weather insulation, but then we put the access point right in front of the window. And when we did that, we were able to get this type of coverage inside the camper. So to recap, what's very important if you're trying to get Wi-Fi into a camper for your Airbnb or your mother-in-law suite is the access point or the gateway or the Wi-Fi thingy that's in your main house needs to be on the side of the house that is closest to the camper. That's going to get you the highest speeds with the least amount of retransmissions. Then you're going to need possibly, and most likely if it's a metal walled camper, you're going to need a repeater. And I highly recommend you only get a MIMO repeater, an MIMO repeater. Most of the internet service providers today, they install at least a 3x3, if not a 4x4 MIMO access point, and you want to match that with MIMO with a repeater, which is a 2x2 MIMO. I highly recommend the Netgear AC 1900, which is a 2x2 MIMO repeater, and you want to absolutely put that repeater in the window. Do not plug it into a wall outlet inside the camper. Get yourself a 6-foot extension cable and about 4 inches of foam. Open the metal tinted window. Put the Wi-Fi repeater right in front of the foam so it has clear line of sight from the access point in the home to the access point in the repeater, and you should have excellent Wi-Fi inside the camper. I hope this is helpful, and if it was helpful to you, please select the like button, and even better, select the subscribe button for better Airbnb Wi-Fi. Thank you.